You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast. This is episode 187, and we've got a treat tonight. We've got Mr. Ben Marleau. Ben, is that how you say your last name?
Yeah, actually, your Canadians always say it right because it is French Canadian. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
So I'll tell a funny story about that after. Anyways, we've got Ben Marleau on tonight. He is the brand manager for DOA Decoys and Beavertail. So this is a great show, especially with the season coming up and everyone's starting to get ready to start purchasing some new stuff. But before we start, as always, give a big thanks to our sponsors, First Light, Ducklander Calls, and Real Geese Silhouette Decoys. Please go give them some love. Check out their social media pages. Let them know that you heard about them through us, and give them some love, please. And of course, Mr. Pit Boss, Captain Jeff Coates himself, the voice of the Union 0430. Philly, just you and I tonight, which is always a good time because we don't need Craig. Well, actually, that's a sin to say that because sending
we actually do need Craig.
Yeah, sending lots of love and prayers out to Craig and his family for the death of his mother just this past week. So, Craig, buddy, we are thinking of you and sending you nothing but the biggest love and all the prayers and hugs. And we wish we were close with you and your family, but we know you guys are doing all right. So, big love to you. And Mark, I believe, is in Virginia Beach now,
partway there.
Or partway there. So it's just you and I, Philly, tonight, and we get the honor to hang out with Ben. So let's get her going. So Ben, I got to tell you, so there was a company out of the States, and it's one of these motion decoy companies, right? Like it's not Mojo or Lucky Duck. It's one of the smaller brands that's getting started. And the guy's name, for us in Canada, we would call him Beauchamp, but he calls himself Beacham, and it's Beauchamp. So to us, because it's a French Canadian name, we would call him Beauchamp, but he referred to himself as Beacham, and I just thought it was funny. So that's why I asked you, because your last name is spelt Marleau, and well, I say Marleau like that, but and then I thought about it. I was like, geez, maybe he doesn't pronounce it that way. How does everybody say your last name down in the States?
I get Marleau. Every now and then you get a Marleau.
Yeah.
But it's been getting botched going on 34 years now.
Where's
the funny part?
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it.
I was gonna say that Beauchamp. I would have said Beauchamp.
Beauchamp,
so
yeah.
We would have just muddied the waters even worse.
Just make it even worse.
Yeah.
But it's funny, right? Because there was a huge here's your history lesson, especially to the people of Louisiana. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure everybody in Louisiana knows it. It's the people outside of Louisiana that probably don't know. But there was a huge migration of French Canadians that left Quebec, Canada, and went down and they settled in Louisiana, right? So that's the French corridor and that whole bit and that history of everything. So a lot of those names came from up here, and then they got them, and that's why I was going to ask you, where's your family from? Because are they from like Louisiana? That's
Ontario.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Ontario, Porcupine, Ontario.
Oh, Philly.
Porcupine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny you bring up the Cajun thing too, because so when I was in college, I just end up in the right place, right time meets right people. ended up getting to work at a duck club in Northeast Arkansas, and then spring snug goose season and all that stuff. And we'd get clients up from Louisiana, and they would know how to say my name.
Of course.
And they'd say, "Well, are you French or are you Cajun?" And I'd say, "Well, it depends on what part of the country I'm in. If I'm up north, it's French Canadian. If I'm down south, it's definitely Cajun."
And they're crazy too, eh? Like the Cajuns.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I've heard, and hey, listen, if there's any Cajuns listening, you can feel free to message me and give me a piece of your mind. But I'm gonna tell you, I've heard some stories like those boys are wild when it comes to hunting. Like when they leave Louisiana and they start heading north to get into the birds. Oh, there's some crazy boys that those Cajuns. I've heard some crazy stories about them. So
It
they're
was
living up
good. They
yeah.
used to bring boudin with them whenever guys would come up.
What's that?
It's like a sausage casing, but it's like rice and crawfish and pork, and it's
Oh,
incredible.
oh yeah,
You
I bet.
throw it on the grill with hot sauce. Yeah.
I got it. Remember I told you how this show and we'll go all over the place and it's just tangents. So there's this video I seen on social media the other day, and it's this black man, and the video is, he says, I don't understand why white people put their hot sauce in the refrigerator. And he was
the ketchup.
But I
Why
laughed
do you
so
put ketchup in the fridge? Yeah.
it was so funny, man. I
Well,
laughed so hard at
that's
that.
the same. Like it's obviously all staged videos, but it's the same guy that does the video where he's sitting in a car and he's like, "Why do these white people make their edibles so strong? What are you running from? I'm tasting colors. I'm stuck here in
Yeah.
this parking lot because I can't fly my UFO."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, quite
yeah,
funny.
yeah, it is. It is pretty funny. Ben, buddy, since we got you on the show, we should talk a little bit about DOA and Beavertail. But because I really didn't know. I knew DOA was its own entity, and then I don't know when that amalgamation started between DOA and Beavertail. Can you fill us in on some of the history of that and what shaped all of that and to where you are today?
So Beavertail was a standalone brand. And then in 2016, acquired DOA Decoys, but it was later in 2016. So the first full year would have been 2017,
Okay.
where you had both brands under one roof working together.
Okay. And now, because of that relationship, now you're still, obviously, you're in the waterfowl industry, but you've got, like, as a brand manager now, like, you've got two, I don't want to say, I'm going to say it, but it's probably the wrong term to use, but you've got two focuses now, right? Where you've got the decoy side of things that you manage, and now you have the Beavertail side of things. And like I said to you before we started recording, in my opinion, I've never seen a manufactured boat line in Canada that wasn't Beavertail.
Yeah.
So now you've got a pretty wide arc of what you're working in between, the Beavertail line and the DOA line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. One of the nice things about it is that they complement each other very well. Um, guys that are hunting water, we can promote decoys there. On the DOA side, guys that are running DOA decoys, ghillie blankets are one of our top products, one of my favorite products. We never really did anything with the panel blinds. But we've got some stuff coming out, that we're obviously working on for the future.
Yeah.
Not related to that, but some more products that we can kind of tie the brands together with.
Okay.
Because you nailed it. It's kind of two.
Yeah.
One kind of goes to the water side and one kind of goes to the field side. But yeah, working the brands together, playing them off each other is something that we're really focusing on doing.
Yeah, like, and I would think, you and your team like that. I don't want to make it sound like it's hard, but but there's definitely got to be some challenges there when you're trying to, because
Mhm.
how can I say it? You want to, Jesus, I can't even get the word out. You don't want to waste time, right? Like you don't want to focus all your time on
Mhm.
one and then the other suffer, right? So you've got to come up with, ways that you can
For
promote
filming
both.
Balance.
locations.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, Phil, what are you saying?
Balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why we keep Phil
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Um, so with the DOA, now first off, I got to go back to that ghillie blanket because I checked it out the other day. I went online the other day and checked that thing out, and I'm going to tell you the pictures. Now, obviously, for anybody that's listening, yes, you still have to go get some grass and some cover and put on this blanket. Like it's not coming, ready to hunt. Which I think is what a lot of people, that's their main gripe. And they're like, well, it doesn't hide very well. Well, you still got to put some friggin' work into it.
And stubble on everything. It's
Yeah,
just,
but I'm gonna tell you, man, like I looked at the pictures of the guy that was using it, and
Mhm.
it is friggin' impressive. Like,
You talking about the green one?
yeah, the green one.
Yeah. That was hard. That wasn't, um, we kind of wanted to, when we started looking at, new product categories for this year, to launch, we really wanted to kind of keep things a little bit more simple, and kind of round out some categories. So we already had, snow, we already
Yeah,
had golden grain, and we already had chisel plow. And it was like, well, let's just round this out,
yeah,
and add a green blanket. So, coming in, I'm like, well, it's green, right?
yeah,
No
yeah,
problem. And so you get one sample in and you're like, ugh, right?
yeah,
Go back to the drawing board. Um, get another one that comes in. Ugh. Now you start going, all right, what did I get myself into here?
yeah.
Um, get another one in. Okay, now we're on the right track, but there's still something here. So what we ended up having to do was I kind of took a ground up approach to the blanket. When you look at anything in nature, the colors or the base colors are always brown or green,
Hmm.
right? So we still incorporated the browns into the base of the blanket, um, because you're when you're when you look at anything from a side view, it's always solid. When you look at a field from the top view, there's holes, right? So you get shadows, you get holes, you get sand, you get dirt, you get mud. So to keep that base there was very important. And then the other thing we noticed is when you look across, not a lot of green fields are the same color, right? And
Of
even if
course.
you look across a field, you'll see dark spots or shadows. Um, so we knew we couldn't, I didn't want to just have one plain color, right? I wanted to be able to emulate shadows and depth. So we actually took a winter wheat colored swatch and then we added in a darker color green, and added those um, longer bundles to it.
I just wanted
And
to,
then
yeah, keep talking, buddy. I'm
that's a
got it.
perfect picture right there. Yeah. So we added, so you can see how much depth that blanket has. Um, so then once we got that sample back, I was like, yep, we're here, right? We've got it. Um, but then essentially you just made a blanket, right? That's all you
Yeah,
did.
yep.
I was watching, I'm a TikTok guru. I fall into rabbit holes till 2 in the morning. Got stuck on sniper talk, right?
Yeah,
Stuck on sniper talk, and it hit me. I'm like, well, the industry standard is running your stubble straps across the blanket the short way, right?
hmm,
Why don't we run them the long ways down this thing? Because then as you're laying there and you've got this blanket tucked into your sides in between your legs, your stubble is standing straight up.
yeah,
So it's designed to hide your profile.
yeah. It That's really interesting, and and this is my chance to toot my own horn, or not really toot my own horn, but talk about me. Um, It's real interesting that you brought up that fact that, you're watching videos about snipers in the military and the whole bit. And I'm ex-military. I've done 20 years. And
Okay.
I really, more and more, I'm seeing um, companies in the outdoor world starting to learn some lessons from what the military has learned over the years when it comes to, you know, uh, like first light, when it comes to layering and
Mhm.
making sure, you layer your clothing and your gear to, you're talking about the stubble. Like, that's really cool that you thought about that the stubble straps and running them down lengthways so that, your vegetation now will stand like this and fall over naturally, as
Yep.
opposed to the other way, right? So it's really
Yeah.
cool. I never really thought about it, but I'm not the guy that I just I like stuff given to me. Here, take this, use it. I
Right.
go and use it, and I use it the way that somebody told me that it's meant to be used. I don't really get into think I'd be a horrible guy to work for a company that they want me to start creating new products, because I just keep recycling the same thing over and over and over. Philly and Mark are really good, and Craig are really good at stuff like that, when saying, hey, listen, you should change this and do this and all that stuff. But not me. I'm just like, okay, this is what they want me to use. All right, I'll use this and I'll use it. But no, it's cool, man. It's cool. What
Thank
else?
you.
What else are you guys coming out with this upcoming season that you can
Yep.
talk about right now?
So we are launching our own we've done, everybody's kind of seen, we've done some stuff in the past with retailers with the flocked head mallards.
Mm-hmm.
But for this year, what we did was it was really popular. Everybody really liked him. So what we did was we came out with a flocked head mallard, the 6-pack of flocked head mallard drakes. But instead of kind of calling it, 6-pack flocked head mallard drakes, we decided we just call it the cowboy pack.
Nice.
Yeah, that was an idea that was thrown out, and it was like,
Why
that
not?
sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Add
Um,
add add some pizzazz to it, right? Like, everybody's got a 6-pack of flocked greenheads.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
whether it
Um,
be
just something a little different.
flocked heads or fully flocked, or
yeah.
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 So we'll call it the cowboy pack.
There you go. I got to tell you, and we were messaging back and forth the other day. So Phil, I don't know if I was telling you this, Phil. So I was looking for a trailer to tow behind my ATV, right? So I wanted something so when I'm in the fields hunting, because I'm planning on, use the ATV. I said I need something to be able to carry decoys and stuff around, and then I could use it around the house for, doing landscaping and stuff. I had no idea that that Beavertail made friggin' ATV trailers. And
Oh yeah.
oh, buddy, this thing is slick. I love
Down the rabbit hole.
it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, man, it's slick. And it's too bad. And I'm hoping, and not to turn this into too much of a political thing, but I hope that Canada gets some new government in, because our dollar to the US greenback is horrible right now. And for me to get that trailer, I think the trailer was like $750 American,
Hmm.
and I think it was like $1,300 by the time I would get it to Canada. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
it's
my God.
Facebook Marketplace.
yeah.
Well,
I was
you won't find that one though. Like, I wanted that
No,
Beavertail one, right?
no, you just get some basic aluminum or
Yeah.
steel box trailer.
Yeah.
I was up there in Toronto last August,
Oh, sorry to hear that.
and we were I was traveling with one of our sales reps, and something came up, and she said, we don't have pennies. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I've
Yeah.
got Canadian pennies at the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. No,
And
they
she
got
said,
rid of
no,
them.
like, she said, no, you pay with cash. It's like does it go up to like what would be your 5 cent?
A nickel.
Nickel.
Yeah.
Nickel? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said it goes up to the nickel if you pay with cash, but if you pay with card, you got to pay to the right penny. I'm like, oh man.
I know. I was asking someone about it the other day because, like, if you go into a store and you buy something, and they'll say, yeah, that was 1942, and if you're going to pay cash, you pay 1940.
Mhm.
So I said to him, I said, so the 2 cents, like this could, if there's a ton of transactions through the day and it's 6 cents and 8 cents and 2 cents here and there, like that'll add up to a great deal of money at the end of the day. And she told me, she said the cash register somehow it's like it goes up in the cloud or something. And she said at the end of the month it comes in and it gets all friggin' rearranged and stuff. But she's like, I don't understand it. We just know that, if you're paying cash, we'll round down or round up. But if you're paying card or Interact or whatever, yeah, you get charged whatever it is,
Yeah.
1942. And I'm like,
It'll balance itself.
yeah,
I think
famous
I
last
said
words.
I told him, I said, I was like, man, that's either like accounting's worst nightmare, or at the end of the day, they're like, no, it's close, we're good.
Yeah, but there's all kinds of wonky shit going on up here, buddy. So and the best was I put a video on a couple months ago, and I was talking about uh and I gave distances in meters, and the temperature was in Celsius. And this one guy in the States, he was like, what the fuck is going on up there? He was like, get with it. And I wrote him back. I was like, dude, you're the only country in the fucking world that's not
Right.
on the metric system. And he was like,
Yeah,
what? I was like, yeah,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah,
It
see,
was funny.
for me, a Canadian inch is just 4 centimeters.
Yeah, 3 point,
That's
2.54.
2.54. Yeah. 2.54 centimeters in an inch. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, Jesus, this is what we're talking about: rabbit holes, tangents,
yeah,
and stuff, right? We're all over the place. But I did want to get a shout out into Pat Heinrichs and Canadian Waterfowl Supplies, because you guys have a great relationship with Pat and Canadian Waterfowl Supplies. And Pat, like, my Beavertail boat blinds that I've bought, that's where I bought them from, is through Pat. And now I see my buddy that I dog train with, he just bought a sneak boat from Pat. And Phil, I know you used to have one as well, didn't you?
Both of my Beavertail blinds, actually, no. One of my Beavertail blinds came from Pat. The previous one, when I was a former staffer with DOA,
Okay.
post-amalgamation was actually purchased from Beavertail and shipped to a U.S. address and
Mm.
imported.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
But
man.
hands down, like having two of the Beavertail blinds down, like they were like the 1900 series
Mhm.
blinds, like they're a 4-man blind and a
Mhm.
comfortable 4-man blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like aside from like, because obviously the two boats I was running were both tillers. Driving blind up, it's not the greatest thing, I'll admit. But you get somewheres, you get parked, you get settled in, you get that blind up. It is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. Just flip it over and go.
Like if you're running like flat bottom boats, so like any an Excel
Yep.
boat or the Beavertail boat or any other kind of John boat style, or like I've got the Alaskan. It's got the total flat floor. It's great because all your heads are level.
Mhm.
You're in like a boat seat or lawn chairs. Everyone's head's nice and low. I never ran. Like you guys can make a flip top, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I never ran the flip tops. I just left the cockpits open, had all the divider, so to speak, grassed up heavy, and like hands down, like just the best thing ever made. Like you can grass them up heavy. Like I raffiaed all mine, like beyond belief. You can add cattails, string a couple of those through, break up the profile, just like beyond well engineered. Like there's just customizability. That's gonna be a new word. Like shaping it to your boat. Like if you got to cut one end and short your poles up, like
Yeah,
There's just so
you
much you
can.
can do with it. Like just there, like if you ain't running a Beavertail boat blind, you need to, hands
Well,
down.
but again, Phil, like that's what I'm saying. Like I've never seen a manufactured boat blind other than Beavertail.
Uh,
You know,
Ave-
I know
didn't
I know
Avery
I know
Avery
they
have one?
exist. I know they exist. I know they're out there.
Yeah,
But everybody that I've hunted, if they bought a boat blind, it was a beaver tail.
yeah, they are the complete and utter front runner.
Yeah, like I would hazard to say that it's the number one boat blind
It
in
is the only
Ontario.
boat blind.
Yeah, yeah, in
I appreciate
Ontario.
that.
Yeah, in Ontario, 100%. But and that's not a. I don't think that's a stretch to say that either because I've been in a lot of duck boats and it's always a beaver tail blind and I could tell you if Merck was on the show with us tonight because Merck is you got to meet him because he's the most eccentric person you'll ever meet when it comes to cam. So that blanket
Mhm.
He's
that
the
he
grass Nazi.
oh yeah,
Like the grass Nazi.
he's the guy that you want. You want a product R&D when it comes to hiding. He's the
Mhm.
guy you want to send it to, right? And I know when I used to run out of my Excel and I had that beaver tail boat on it, like I don't know how many times I've heard him say he's like, man, it's so easy to hide in this, like and
Mhm.
just dressing it up, right? Like dressing it and hiding.
Yeah.
He's like, man, it's just so easy to hide this thing. And
My only gripe,
oh, here
there
we
is a
go.
gripe. My only gripe
The
is
Velcro.
the black cover.
Oh,
It's
You
yeah,
you need longer straps.
it's not big enough. Yeah. When
It's
you
big
really
enough. You just need longer
oh,
straps.
the
yeah.
one for when you're
The
traveling
travel
down
cover.
yeah, the
Yeah,
travel
Yeah.
cover. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Like, buddy, like another 4 inches. That's it.
Yeah.
We're not asking for a lot.
Well, that's
We're not going down that path.
okay. Don't
But
want okay.
it could
I
be
was
about
gonna go.
4
I
inches
was gonna
longer.
go there. I
Yeah.
was gonna go there. You
That
you
is like
seen it?
legit my only thing. It's just like, and I grass my boats freaking heavy,
Yeah.
and I could get pretty much all the buckles except like the end two,
Yeah.
because you've got the flap for the bow and then
It
the
wraps
flap for your
around there.
motor. So I fold those in and then
Mhm.
flip it down onto the gunnels. So like those two end buckles would never get done up because they couldn't stretch. But like that's the
Yeah.
only thing. It's just another
I did
couple
see.
inches.
Jason Sear had one, and he had a buddy that used to come hunt with him that had a dog. It was before I got my dog, and we were going out this day, and we were going out scouting, and there was no blind or nothing on the boat. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Where's your blind? And he's like, I got it into the seamstress, and I'm like, what? You got your boat? What's going on with it? And he was like, I got the dog door.
Mhm.
I'm putting the dog door in. So he got the seamstress, and I was like, there's a
Had
friggin'
it sewed in.
had it sewed in.
Yeah.
I was like, there's a friggin' dog door, and he was like, yeah, man. He said you can buy
I
like,
gorilla glued mine.
Yeah. It's easier.
I
Yeah.
just gorilla glued it. Just
really,
X-Acto knife and then just glued it and like a literally I did like
really,
one side at a time,
yeah,
and I got like a couple pieces of 2x4
and
and
clamp it,
just clamped it and just
really,
welded on. Okay, you're done. Did the next section, the next section. Yeah, just took 4 days.
really.
Just glued all the sides and yeah.
Hmm. That's
Now
a,
that boat blind I think resides in, well, that was the one off the Alaskan. Because I didn't have a doggy door on the Excel boat that I had,
no, I don't think so.
but I put the doggy door on the Alaskan. That blind I think is now residing in Keswick.
Ben, listen, buddy, you will not hurt mine or Phil's feelings if we're going down these
Don't
tangents
you
and
need feelings
Oh,
for them to get hurt?
like
yeah.
like if you want to get in, hey, listen, did you know that DOA is doing this year? Like
Well, you're good, man.
shut us up because
You're
we'll run
good.
we'll run like this for an hour straight.
Oh, you're good.
Well,
Um,
speaking of DOA, let's go into some of their proprietary things they developed, like the breast heavy goose sleeper shells.
the
Yeah.
best.
I still own 2 dozen. I will take those things to the grave
Mhm.
because they're hands down the best goose shell sleeper shells that have ever been fabricated in the existence of man.
Produced. Mm-hmm.
because you can stack them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I never owned any of the full bodies, unfortunately, but that base design, which is, what's the name of that shape?
Hex base.
It was 6-sided, right?
Yeah, hex.
Hexagon.
The hex base. Yeah,
Hexagonal, yes. Like windproof,
yeah,
can't tip over,
yeah. It makes it nice. You just set it and forget it.
right? It's kind of like a Traeger.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of like a Traeger. I like that.
yeah.
Eugene,
Especially
you'd be
nice when
proud.
you get around refuges and whatnot where guys will leave their spreads out, and once the birds show up, guys will just leave their spreads out at the pits and whatnot, and it's nice when you show up and you get there and you don't have to go and pick up 30 dozen decoys. You know, most of them are still standing.
Yeah.
If they've been out for a while and you get some real windy days.
There you go. The hex
There,
base.
there you go. Like, and you're right, Phil. Like it is windproof, and the people that know, right? Like you're sitting down. You've first off, you set everything up in the dark. You think you got everything squared away the way you want it. And then the sun comes up and you're like, fuck, I gotta change some shit.
Yeah, you couldn't be any further from the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. So but those that have done it, they understand it, right? They're like, okay, I haven't had my coffee yet because I know I'm gonna have to get up. I'm gonna have to move some stuff around when the light comes. Get up, move some stuff around. Okay, yeah. Now I've got it set the way that I want it. And then the birds start working.
Mm-hmm.
Then the wind blows over decoys,
Yeah.
buddy. And you know it, and you've seen it. I've seen it. Phil's seen it, and you're wondering, you're watching these birds work, and there's something that's just not right, and you're like, what the fuck is it? Like, what? Why wouldn't they come in? Like, why wouldn't they commit there? And then
Yeah.
someone goes, decoys turned up.
Yeah.
Fell over.
Decoys are tipped. That's a windy day.
Yeah.
Decoys start tipping. Yeah. She's blowing.
Yeah, she's blown. Well, but now on with a base like that though, so and again, I'm not slagging any product, because by no means I'm not an expert and I'll never pretend to be. Um, I'm not slagging any product whatsoever, but when, if you're on just a normal base, a circle or whatever it be,
Mm-hmm.
like there was
Yeah.
a reason, and I'm confident to say this. There was a reason why Bigfoot decoys were so popular when they came out. Those fucking things that,
Decoy lasts forever.
decoy lasts forever and they didn't blow over. You know what I mean? Like they were a sturdy decoy. They took up a ton of room in the trailer, but
Yeah.
you know, the fellas just don't
Still
want.
being made to this day.
Still being made, yeah. But fellas just don't. It gets to the point, we've talked about it on this show a ton before, Ben, is that, when you're a young fella and you're just starting out, like you really don't care, right? Like
Oh, you
whatever,
buy anything and everything.
absolutely. You buy
Yeah.
anything, and if it's $5 at a garage sale, and if you got to take a can of spray paint to it to make it
Yeah.
look like a duck, then you do it, and you know what? And
Yeah.
I honestly think that is one of the most important tradition, and it's not so much of a tradition as it is just a way of life. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the most important things that a young duck hunter needs to do is listen. You've got to suffer with those, yeah, just humble you, and then as you get older, because um and again, we've talked about it on the show. Like if you look at the the big guys that are on social media right now that are hunting and dropping, their limits every single day, and they've got, the spread in the trailer, and they've got all the gear and stuff. That didn't happen overnight. That was years and years of fumbling around and buying a dozen here and a dozen there and 5 dozen here and 5 dozen, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that is something that fellas guys and girls need to be able to do. They need to get out there and just
It takes
what
time.
it do take time, and the stuff isn't cheap, right? And everybody
No.
everybody knows, like, our dollar is
Yeah.
both in the States and in Canada. Like we're stretching our dollars as much as we can right now, right?
Yeah.
So, get out there,
Yeah.
and as long as you're out, it doesn't matter if you're not using the best or the you know the most popular gear right now. Don't worry about it. Just get out and
Yeah.
get going.
Well, and that was, you talk about suffering. Like I'm jealous of these younger kids that we see these days. A lot of these younger guys. So I'm 34,
Yeah.
almost 34. Not
You
going to
are
short
one of the
myself.
younger fellows there.
Yeah. So, well, we had this conversation last night. I'm old to some and young to others.
Right.
It's kind of like I think I told him. I said I'm like an early 2000s Kenny Chesney song that was still good. He's not old enough to be like good OG 90s country,
Yeah.
and he's not new enough to be really new. He's just kind of 2002,
Yeah. I
But
get it. That's
like
that's a fucking great analogy, dude.
he was so close to being one of the great ones, He just missed it.
And being a
Yeah.
Kenny Chesney reference, Segula could be
Yeah,
proud.
Steve Segulik to be
So one
it.
of our loyal friends and fans here, Ben, his dog is named
Chesney. Yeah.
Chesney.
Oh yeah.
No, we used to carry, I mean, Buddy and me and our hunting crew, like I remember when $300 waders were like
Expensive.
that was
Premium.
expensive, right?
Oh yeah.
So we carried big heavy duty contractor bags in the back seat. So you go hunting, and before you even do anything, you throw your contractor bags on each leg, and you just hope the hole wasn't higher than that, And then you'd get out like, I grew up hunting public,
Right.
for most of it. Majority of it we hunted was public, and so when the cold fronts are coming, like, man, if you're gonna hunt, I can't believe it. I've never been beat to a spot on public. If I wanted to hunt, my philosophy was just get there.
Yep.
Just go and get it, and then you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
But like we would get dressed, it would be, Thanksgiving, around that time frame. And you know what it's like? The rest of the world doesn't know what cold is like. Right. And so you've got, every single jacket. You're huddled in cattails. You got every single jacket, Under Armour, anything you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
well let's back the trolley up here 1 second. Whereabouts are you located again, Ben?
Minnesota. It's cold.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I gotta shut my
cold.
mouth.
It's
You
cold.
do know cold.
It's colder
Yeah.
in Minnesota than what it is in Ontario, or
Yeah,
in
it's
our
cold.
part.
I'm gonna
our
pump the
part of
brakes. Okay,
Ontario.
carry on.
But you got long johns on and vests on and jackets tucked into your waders and your huddling
Snowmobile
cattails.
suit.
Yeah. And you're sitting there from midnight till shooting time. You don't want to set decoys too early because your waders are going to freeze. But now, at 34, I walk outside and I've got on like 12 ounces of clothing, and I'm warmer than I was when I was, 16 years old wearing 10 inches of clothing.
Yeah. You're like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walking out.
Oh,
right?
yeah. The kid on Christmas
In
Story.
fairness, if you fell in, you'd
on
float.
A Christmas Story. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ralphie's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But that
It's
very,
suffering,
Yeah. Very true. And I think people are spoiled. The people are spoiled. And listen, here's the time to put my old man hat on. In my day, we didn't have Gore-Tex, right, or any of that stuff. But we call it suffering, and it was horrible. But buddy, some of the funniest stories ever were when you were just freezing to death. And I used to be a smoker, like so cold you couldn't even operate the
lighter wouldn't
lighter.
work.
Yeah, you couldn't even operate the lighter, like it was so cold, and you just
Oh,
and then
there's
you're
your thumbs up.
Yeah, and then you get angry because now you can't even, it's so cold you can't even fucking smoke. So now
I know you got a lot of things going on, but if you could just get my cigarette lit, please.
You know what I mean? Like it was just but it was the best times, because that was the time that your buddy did something idiotic, and you were so tired that you laughed way longer than you were supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
these new kids, they don't know the struggles of like using carry light decoys.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like like non-self-righting floaters.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch and decoys, you gotta go out there and fix them.
Well, so
There
when
was no Texas rigs back in those days, kids.
well, when
We
I
used string
started,
and like mushroom weights.
like when I started, like we didn't even use decoy. Like we just pond hopped. You know what I mean? Like we jump shot everything. Like we didn't set up a spread or anything like that. We didn't have money to. We had enough money to buy our duck stamp and to buy a box of shells,
Yeah.
and then that was it, right?
And you pray to
Yeah.
God you didn't miss.
Oh, well,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna tell you, like you were a lot more I was a lot more selective at my shots back then than what I am now. 100%. Because I'd have a box of shells, and I'm gonna tell you, it was no good for me to go home to mom and dad and ask for money to go buy another box of Winchester.
What'd you do with the 25 we gave you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I don't think
The
it would have been a
bluebell.
big deal. I don't think it would have been a big deal if I was coming home with geese, or ducks. But when I was coming home empty-handed, that was a hard pill for Dad to swallow to go buy me another box of shells just to go blast them, and not bringing
Yeah.
anything home.
That's, I think the only thing harder is when there hasn't been a whole lot of birds around,
Yeah,
and hunting is just tough.
it
And you
is.
ask yourself, I don't know why I'm getting up, but I gotta go. I can't
Yeah,
sleep in. And I mean, reality is, I mean, not you just don't kill them every day, right?
that's right.
I
But when
felt
you've
that
had a
way this
couple tough,
morning turkey hunting.
Oh, were you at the turkey
oh,
again this morning?
I shared a beautiful sunrise with two nice gentlemen. Yep.
Did you guys hold hands and cuddle and stuff?
Not quite, but
No, but it was romantic though, eh?
yeah, I hate turkeys.
I know.
So
Ben, I did want to talk to you, and I wanted to ask you about this because, obviously I creep your profile and the whole bit, right? Like as we were chatting and stuff like this, and you were a guide. So,
yeah,
like you were a guide, like you were not only were like recreationally where you did it because you loved the
mhm,
hunt, but then it became a job where you had to put clients on birds, and you had to make sure that the clients were happy and they were going away happy and successful, right? And
mhm,
then for you to go from that, and you did a couple things in between, but to go from being a guide, being on the ground, hearing, the complaint that I don't want to say complaints, but hearing the issues of hunters and outfitters and everybody, because you were in a very unique spot where you could hear that, to now being, the brand manager. And let's face it, like
mhm,
there's really, I don't know. I'm just going to say off the top of my head, there's what there's four duck and goose decoy companies that I
mhm,
can think of. There's four.
mhm,
There might be another one in there, but I can think of four right off the top of my head. So for you to go from a guide, hearing all the concerns, to now you're the brand manager for one of the, top five decoy manufacturers in North America,
mhm.
that got to be a very unique set of a unique experience that you bring to the table for DOA and Beavertail.
Yeah, and that's where, like I've had this conversation at work, even like designing the green blanket.
Right.
Um, somebody said, "Man, when are you gonna like this thing? When are we good? When I'll go use it?"
Yeah.
You know, um, and I have that coming from, yeah, wow, we had what we needed, but never a whole lot,
Right. Yep.
growing up. So you appreciate when things last, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's kind of where, I guess I think where you're going with it is, like I like to call it, from a user standpoint, durability,
Yeah.
and detail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think DOA has a great history and a great past of being durable.
Yep.
And then functionality, right?
Yeah.
Um, you can fit just an astronomical amount of them in a trailer. I can carry, um, I noticed we've been having to walk into a lot of fields the last 10 years.
That's not
Like all of a
fun.
sudden grass isn't okay to drive on anymore. And
I
like
tell
you
you
can
what,
carry.
I will fucking go to the next county before I'll hunt an alfalfa field. I can promise you that.
See, and that's like, we run into it where, you gotta carry a spread in, and it's like, well, I can get 2 dozen of these almost in one trip,
Wow.
you know? Um, and so coming from the guiding background side, like if something broke, I just make it go away, you
Right,
know?
right.
It either broken away or make it go away, or if something happened, you go, okay, that's okay, we're good.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of nice coming into this because it's allowed me a little freedom to be able to. I think I'm not saying you can't ever reinvent the wheel, but you can. I was told a good analogy by a buddy was you can make the wheel roll smoother.
Of
Or
course.
change the color.
Yeah.
Change the color. Yep. So uh, um, it's kind of cool though. What where you're going is having the waterfowl background and then being in a position to help kind of design some new products to
Yeah,
come to market with.
absolutely. Pat Pat Hendricks and I talked about this last week on the episode, and we've talked about it on this show in the past where, to try and be innovative, to bring that next product to
Mhm.
market in the waterfowling world that's just going to blow everybody's friggin' mind. Like that's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to do. It
What is it like?
really isn't.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Absolutely, right? So now and this and anybody that's listening to this episode, and I'm not going to say this because I'm trying to insult your intelligence or anything, but way back in the day when the natives were using straw to make a goose or a duck look like a goose or a duck, like we've been copying that design for the past 200
Huh.
years,
Yeah.
right? So, I hear it all the time. I see it on social media and I'll see somebody and they'll be like, well, they're just copying company A. Well, company A, company B, and C, they've been
Mhm.
copying one another for the past 40 years. They're just
Mhm.
putting their own little tweaks into it to
Yeah.
make it their own, right? And people need to, you know, sort of to go with what you were saying, Ben, where you've got your own ideas and you want to change some things because your experience says, hey, listen,
Mhm.
the base of the product is amazing, but if we just change this and this and this,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
we've got a solid product and we've got a product that people are going to buy because it's more user friendly or it's easier to deploy, it's easier to pick up, and
Mhm.
because as waterfowlers, easy is the magic word for us.
Oh
Anything
yeah.
anything that makes it faster, easier,
Mhm.
that's the fucking golden ticket in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a very long rant of me saying, listen, stop attacking brands that you think that they're copying somebody. Everybody's been copying everybody in the industry for years. Yes,
Yeah.
there is the odd time that someone comes out with something that's completely innovative,
Mhm.
but I couldn't even imagine sitting around a boardroom or sitting around a table and going, okay, guys, 2020 season 2025 is coming up. We got to bring something new to the table.
Mhm.
Can you like how in the fuck do you design something new? Like you're way smarter than I am.
So
To
what I look at least what I've done so far, if you look at the industry, I remember being a 16, 17-year-old kid when I went from following my dad to
Yeah,
my dad tagging along with me. He'd be like, oh, you guys don't need all this stuff. We had homemade decoys. What are
yeah,
you doing? We used to lay under burlap sacks, right?
yeah,
Well, what you don't realize, what you come to realize as you get older, and if you look at it as a trend. So I mean, I've got stories of my dad, hunting off of Lake Manitoba, and they're hunting over homemade tar paper decoys that they folded and painted white, and they're laying under, they called them coffin lids that they made
yeah,
homemade themselves, right?
yeah. Yep.
And then they'd lay in white suits, and then they had backboards. And then they used to take hog panel and stubble it and stick it in the ground with fence posts, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then somebody comes out with a layout blind, right? Well, it's just a coffin lid that's different. Well, then
Absolutely.
you come out with an A-frame. Well, that's just hog panel, but different, right?
Absolutely.
Or a panel blind. So that it's like that, right? It's
Yeah.
cyclical.
It
You know?
absolutely 100%. And Sean Stahl, we had Sean Stahl on the show a long time ago. Sean's been on a bunch of times, but one of the first times he came on, Phil, and he had talked about, you know, the coffin blind was revolutionary, right? Like everyone was like, Jesus, we got to have these coffin blinds. Like that's the only way to hunt. And
Well, it was
then,
like it was Final Approach.
yeah, right.
Was like
And then,
kinda the initial.
and then the panel blind come out, and then everybody was like, "This is amazing, the panel blind." And Sean Stahl was like, "I was using like the
Shoot, these
same
20 years ago.
these things 20 years ago, but it's
Yeah.
just like what you're saying, Ben. It was,
Yeah.
and when I was in Saskatchewan in, I don't know, 2015, hunting crane, they're
Mhm.
still using that roll of fence with the stubble. They're
Yeah.
still using it.
Yeah, that's like silhouettes never stopped working. The full
Yeah.
body came out, right?
Yeah.
And then when silhouettes they never went away, but they made a big resurgence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it went from having wood stakes to wires,
Yeah.
and life was good again. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
But that's the thing, right? Like a company will come in and go, "Hey, listen, why don't we do this? It'll make things a little easier." Like especially, you're talking about in the last 10 years where you're walking your gear in more. Well, hey, listen, now I want something lighter and easier to
Mhm.
carry because now I've
Yeah.
got to walk in. Yeah, and you see things now that, it was what our fathers and grandfathers used 20,
Been
30,
doing it
40 years ago.
forever.
Been there forever. It's just nobody is just, it wasn't shiny and new at the time. So,
Yeah.
so it went, it got hidden away
Yeah.
for a little bit and now it's all coming back. And
Mhm.
you're right. I think the word you used was, I'm going to try and say it, but I'm going to fuck it up. I know. Um, cynical,
Cyclical.
cyclical.
Yeah,
I'm from
cyclical.
I'm from Newfoundland, so we don't use words like that where I'm from.
No.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, you used some big words because I'm not kidding. I was reading. You said what was it?
Amalgamation.
Amalgamation. I was looking at that, like I was looking at my keyboard thinking, what could he have been trying to type? Because that's not even a word. And then I hit Google and I was like, oh,
That's
at some point, but at some point in my life, though, my wife was telling me this the other night. She's like, you always remember the worthless information.
oh yeah.
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 Like I was
It's only worthless to you, sweetheart.
right. We were sitting at a training, like out in South Dakota, and one of my sales managers, a friend of mine, was with me, and the bartender was talking. She said, "Do you want cheese balls?" And he's like, "What?" I said, "Dude." I said, once you get like 3 hours west of home, they go from mozzarella sticks to cheese balls. He said, how do you know that? I'm like, man, I'm cultured. I've been around, right? And
I'm refined.
he's like, man, you know all this worthless stuff. And then he asked the waitress, he was just, she was chatting. She said, where are you from? And she said, Tyndall. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I blew this guy's mind over cheese balls, I'm going to blow this guy's mind right now. I said, is the old man that cuts hair in town with all the George Jones memorabilia still kicking? And she about dropped her beers that she was going to serve. And he looks at me. How do you know that? I'm like, man, I've been around a while.
I've been around a while.
I know the
Yeah.
difference between sweet tea and iced tea.
Yeah, you don't drink iced tea. That's the difference.
Oh,
Well,
really?
we do in Canada.
No,
didn't-
it's sweet tea. Sweet
No,
tea.
so in Canada, it's iced tea. It's iced tea and sweet tea, same thing.
Okay.
Oh, they
yeah.
are?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I understood it. Because when I was in Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, I'm going to tell you this, and you can judge me all you want, Ben, but I think Cracker Barrel is like the best goddamn restaurant I've ever been in my
Oh, it's
life.
good.
I love it.
Chili's, bro.
And I would go on Sundays. I would always go to the Cracker Barrel for dinner, and that's what I would get. I would get sweet tea, and I was like, okay, sweet tea and iced tea
Yeah.
is the same thing. But then when you guys said that, I thought you meant like there was a difference, and I was like, oh shit, I don't know the
Yeah.
difference between.
So your sweet tea is our iced tea. Like we don't have unsweetened.
Yeah, we don't have on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You're
we
lucky
pump
'cause-
sugar. We pump sugar and lemon into freaking everything.
Yeah, and yeah. That was one of the cool things. Like when I was up there in August last year, I just went to the store and I just started grabbing everything, all the candy and chips and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Ketchup
stuff.
chips.
Yeah,
Old
all
Dress.
dressed chips. I brought some home. I'm like, honey, these are the greatest thing.
Have you had butter tarts?
I
No,
was just going to bring it up,
bro.
but
You haven't lived.
a couple years ago, Logan Williamson and Kevin Harlander from First Light came up and done a snow goose hunt with us, and Phil and another one of the fellas, Dave. We were just talking about, and I tell you why I brought it up, and your family's from Ontario, so it's not a surprise to you when I say milk comes in a bag. So we were talking about a bag of milk or something, and the boys who are in Idaho were like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bags of milk?" And we were like, "The milk comes in like 1 liter bags."
1.3.
And they were like, "Well, why wouldn't you put it in cardboard containers?" And I'm like, "It's an Ontario thing. Nowhere else."
Ontario and Quebec.
Ontario and Quebec. I'm like, anywhere else in Canada, it's still the carton, right? So, anyways, we got into this big conversation about different Canadian food. So, ketchup chips come up, and then the boys were like, butter tarts, and they were like, we have no idea what this is. So they
Hold my
took them.
beer.
Yeah. So when the hunt was over, the boys took them to, and it's the same thing as eating like a fucking gas station burrito. They took them and got gas station butter tarts, and the boys were just like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" And I'm like, "That's crap. Like you got to get the homemade stuff like that your grandmother would make. That's the shit, right?"
I swear these guys were smuggling them in their carry-ons on the flight home.
But
Yeah,
it's just a fucking it's just like a little pastry. It's all sugar, dude, but it is delicious.
So good.
It is.
you
so
said
good.
gas station burritos and butter tarts, and I'm a gas station food connoisseur. My wife thinks it's absolutely horrible. I love gas station food.
You have
Now,
and
there's
the exquisite palate.
Oh, yeah, right,
a refined
Refined
palate.
Right.
Listen,
Yeah.
there's a reason why, you know, I got all these gray hair. I'm 47 years old. I look weathered and rode hard and put away wet. But it's because of the
You're a
duck
duck hunter.
season. It's because I'm a duck hunter and I'm eating this fucking gas station stuff, like the hot dog that's been rolling for the last 6 months and just waiting for duck season to open so somebody can come and eat
Waiting
it.
for some like poor innocent soul. Pick me.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the pet store and all the cats and dogs are like pawing at the window. Pick me. Yeah,
Oh.
that's that spinning hot dog.
Yeah.
That was spring snow goose season was always like daylight savings time would hit,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, oh,
I gotta get up an hour earlier.
well, that, and then like you can shoot till a half hour after sunset,
Yeah.
and nobody's leaving the spread before a half hour after sunset. I've
Right.
tried.
Yeah.
Well, then you're a half hour from town, and by the time you get back to town, you are just praying that there is a stale piece of something still on the roller cooker or in that carousel thing, right? Like just be one piece of 2-day-old breakfast pizza. I'm starving.
God.
Or maybe a less than stale honey bun.
Oh, boys.
Just something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not an easy way of life. I'm going to tell you, it is not for the faint of heart. Listen, I've said this before, and Bobby Hayes, I know you'll agree with me. But deer hunters, all you fucking hunters out there, you got nothing on us. You got nothing on us.
Nothing.
Nothing. Like we are at a different level of hunt. Yeah, yeah, okay. You sheep hunters, you climb the mountains. Yeah,
A
sure.
different breed.
Yeah, different breed. Got it. Yeah, you're athletes,
If
and that's
if
the way I look at those guys,
if we
right?
were to compare the different types of athletes to hunters, like the deer hunters, the mountain elk shit, like they're
Yeah.
like the CrossFit guys.
Mhm.
Us as waterfowlers, we're like beer league hockey.
Hey,
Yeah.
this is I like where you're going with this because if you put
I'm
all the
comfortable with
waterfowlers
who
in a
I am.
room, all the big game guys in a room, and like we'll even throw fly fishermen in there just because everybody needs to have a little fun. And we'll
No
call it
offense,
deer hunters,
Mitch.
right? If you put us all in a room and said go, I mean, we're all walking out unscathed. That's just the way it is. We
Yeah.
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, and it's a good. First off, we're getting to the end of the show here, so we're gonna finish strong here, ladies and gentlemen. So Phil, that was really good when you said, like the sheep and the elk, like up in that they're the CrossFitters, because
Yeah.
if you don't know someone's doing CrossFit, just wait a couple seconds because
They'll just tell you.
they'll tell you,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're a pilot.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you're a waterfowler, and I honestly do believe this, like you are a different breed. Like you are out in the shittiest weather. You pray, you pray for that north wind. Like
Mhm.
that is what gets you excited when you know that north wind is coming. And just the weather, you love that shitty weather because you know the birds are coming with it, right?
Mhm.
I
Oh,
do believe we are in a league of our own. I
oh, we're just
honestly
not
do.
right in the head.
No,
We're a rare breed.
But
we
so
we are
so
a
here's
rare
something
breed.
funny. Like when it comes
Okay.
like I'm a diehard turkey hunter. I love my turkey hunting and whatever. I'm a complete and utter princess. And I'll be the first to admit it. I don't care. Zero F's given. I'm an absolute princess when it comes to turkey hunting.
Yeah.
I won't like if there's cloud or the slightest hint of rain, I'm not turkey hunting. Okay.
I'm done.
If
Yeah.
my slates are gonna get wet, no bueno. Come October, there's a tornado
Yeah, I'm out.
on the extra thick wool socks. Let's ride.
Yeah,
Right? We
Very
got
true.
Gore-Tex for that.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
it's funny.
100%.
Boys,
I'm comfortable with who I am.
this is awesome. This is such a good laugh. Ben, buddy, I know I promised you that we were going to talk about DOA and Beavertail, and we did everything but spend a ton of
Yeah.
time talking about
No,
your.
it's been enjoyable. Thanks for having me on.
This
Well,
is
now
again
you
one of
just
those
got.
moments we need to have you back.
Yeah, now we need to have you back so you can actually talk about your product and promote your brand and
Yeah.
the whole bit. So we got to get you back because this was just a shit show.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface,
No, no,
of waterfowl,
no,
anything. So
no, we didn't. You're
That
absolutely
sounds
right.
about right for our show.
Very much, Phil. Very much. So what we'll do, Ben, we'll do a quick around the table. Just we'll give you the last word, and then we'll close it, buddy, and then that'll be it. But again, on behalf of myself, Phil, Craig, and Mark that aren't here, but listen, you have an open invite to come on this show whenever you want. And so don't wait until I send you a message. If you want to come on
Because
and
we'll
there's something,
forget.
yeah, yeah. Um, I'm pretty like the blinders go on, and it's like
I hear you.
squirrel.
Anything quarter inch outside of that.
Yeah, not happening. So you've got an open invite to come on the show whenever you want. All you got to do is message, say, "Hey, Dame, can I come on the show?" Yeah, 100%. Let's get you in, and we'll do it. So Philly, to
For
you.
a scheduling manager.
Yeah. Oh, I got a funny story. So I had a guy message me yesterday, and God bless him, right? And I understand, everybody's got a job to do and stuff, and especially if you're in that marketing world, the, everything is a cold call, right? You're always calling up somebody and trying to build a relationship. And this guy, fuck, he was good, right? Like he was a marketing guy and he was good. And he sends me this email and it was crazy. And I just write him back and I'm like, buddy, I appreciate all the work you put into this email. But Punisher Waterfowl is a very, very small brand. and I can't I can't give you the return that you would need for it to be justified for you, right? And he wrote me back and he was like, um, wow, I don't think anybody's ever said I wouldn't be able to deliver on what the expectations are. I'm like, buddy, I'm just being honest because I would feel like shit if you if you said, yeah, we're going to work with Punisher Waterfowl, and then 3 months down the road, you're like, hey, was those guys in Punisher Waterfowl actually going to fucking do anything or what? And so, anyways, Philly, to you, my
We
man.
do lots, just most of it's just irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways,
So-
back on
so-
track for the third time.
yeah.
Ben, absolutely great having you on as a former staffer of DOA Decoys. Like, you guys have produced like an amazing product over the years, and like just some of the smallest little innovation things that meant the biggest to the community. Again, one of the biggest things I rant about is the DOA Goose sleeper shells, like that big heavy breast on the shell, so it can't blow away on like ice shelves or whatever. Like, just it's those small things that are just leading the industry. The Beavertail blinds, like, I've been a proud owner of 2 of them now. It's the only built blind I'll ever buy. Like, it's an amazing product, and you guys are crushing it. You're doing well. Keep doing well. Keep doing better, and you got nothing but the most support and love from us. Just keep going.
Well said.
So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed being on here and bullshitting with you. We'll do it again.
That's what we do
Absolutely.
best.
Yeah, yeah. We're really good at that. Everybody, this is the Union 0430, episode 187. Like I said, we are not experts. We'll never pretend to be experts. Surround yourself with good people. Be kind to one another. And listen, we're only a couple months away to fucking duck season. So big love. Until next week.